say that.
Man.
Word. Hey, yo, we got Rawlsmatic live in the neighborhood.
You might not get no questions answered.
Right?
Man. We're sorry,
no,
man.
not at all, yo. We were talking before I hit record. Rhett and I were talking about the project, and one of the things that's cool that actually, if people have listened to the joints you've released thus far, it's not a straight hip hop record, which I think is really cool. Was that the idea going in?
Definitely. Rhett, you want to elaborate? You want me?
Yeah. I mean, well, when we kind of started working and we announced that we are working on an album, a lot of people were surprised or shocked per se, because they would have never thought of Rawls and myself doing a project together. Because our production styles is definitely different. Obviously, with Rawls working with Black Star, with Lone Catalyst and Fat John, he's like his styles is very musical, and of course a lot of it like as they would say, jazzy hip hop, whatever.
Jazz
yeah.
Hop.
I mean, it's jazz hop, but in some ways too, even though the term's kind of crazy, like in some ways, I Rawls is kind of like part of the architecture of lo-fi hip hop per se. You know, lo-fi. I mean, I don't know.
Here you go.
I know. I'm about to get like hit up on social media. Is like right. No. And then of course for me being from LA, like
visionaries.
With the visionaries and stuff. But my production is a little bit more like ironically more like more rough, rugged. So so obviously you see the two contrasts of our production, but the interesting thing being us also being DJs, we also like we of course we love hip hop and stuff, but we also play like like house, disco, funk. I mean that's if you are a true hip hop fan, you would know that as a producer and as a DJ, you listen to all types of music, right. And then if you so it's like we try to incorporate whatever influences and stuff, and we talk about it like in terms like Rawls push me to do a little bit more something different, or vice versa. So and then we just kind of know each other's just becoming friends. We know what we complement. Like he's he's musical, I'm raw, if that makes any sense. It's them
drums. It was really it was very purposeful. Like one of the singing songs, the last one we released was Cyrus Beatty. That was done a while back, because we were purposefully trying to I guess just we're hip hop, right? All of us, we grew up hip hop, but as you grow older, your taste expands, and it should. And if it doesn't, I don't know, like what you're doing something wrong. It should. You should be able to appreciate some house. You should be able to appreciate some neo soul. You should be able to appreciate something like that. And then what we do is add a little hip hop twist to it. And then, you got Rawlsmatic. So here we go.
Yes, that's what's up. The project drops, it's February 3rd, right?
Yep.
Project drops February 3rd. You already have visuals out for Xanadu. And then you guys have like hit us with, I think we got 5 joints from the project already that people can check out, right?
Yeah, we wanted to share, man. The whole thing was like letting people hear the music, let them feel the music. I mean, Rhett and I are DJs, so we love when we get the joints out a little early. You can play the joints early.
I dig it. So one of the things that I'm curious about is you folk have been doing what you've been doing for so long at such a high level, and have a part of so many different communities, that in terms of bringing performers to be parts of this project, did you have people in mind specifically that you knew, okay, I want to try to get this vocalist, I want to try to get this MC on the project? Like, did you have a list of folk that you knew were going to be a part of this project? Right.
Yeah, I mean, we did have a wish list. I mean, of course,
it didn't come true.
It didn't come true.
It never does.
I mean, some have, some came kind of like fell through the cracks and stuff like that. I mean, of course, a lot of it, we're very blessed that we have relationships with a lot of the artists on, you know, of course, whatever from Rawls side or my side and stuff. There were so many people we want to reach out. I mean, in the process of making this album too, was like, because there are times we were like, oh, let's try to shoot it for this time. Let's shoot it for this time. But at the end of the day, I think everything worked out to what was supposed to be right now. Because I think if we try to release it earlier than it was supposed to be, I don't think we would have this conversation. And I think because it helped us to be more mature. Because, you know, when we first started, per se, you know, things are already changing. I mean, in terms of the industry and stuff, even being being independent. Now, you know, being, you know, digital wasn't really in full. I mean, digital was in effect, but it wasn't really in full effect like it is now and stuff. And yeah, it's we reached out to a couple of people. There's some people that was on the album, or we did record with them, but it just wasn't meant to be, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, Rhett. That works.
Yeah. But I mean, things like that make it. We're anticipating like the next Rawlsmatic project. We know that there's stuff in the vault for the next one. I'm just putting it out there already. You know what I'm saying?
Stuff in the vault.
Yo, the project is coming out now this year, 2023. And as a fan of hip hop, one of the things that I'm really high on is the fact that we're going to be celebrating. We are really celebrating 50 years of hip hop. And to me, it's such a huge thing because I'm an old head. Somebody said I should stop calling myself an old head. I'm just a classic, right? But I remember when
it's a hip hop thing. We do that, but you're right.
We do, you know. But that time when we were fighting for folk to just accept rap as a music genre, not just this thing that was going to that was just a fad that was going to pass away. And now here we are, and hip hop is such an integral part of so many aspects of everything all over the world. For you folk who have been in it, who have it's a part of the fabric of what you've done. You have created and shared art, and even through education with what you're doing, Rawls, and what the Beat Junkies have done. Have you guys had an opportunity to think about that? And I'll start with you, Rawls, and what that means for this to be the 50th anniversary.
Yeah, definitely. I think the most important thing, and I realize it when I teach my students each week, is if we don't teach them what hip hop is and where it came from and the origin and the culture, we could lose it, you know, and that's our fault, right? It's to me, it's important. I think it's probably one of the most important things now is, you know, and it's kind of funny you said old head versus classic. You know, you think of Mick Jagger, he's 80 and he's still touring. You know, he's classic rock, whereas Grandmaster Caz or you know, Big Daddy Kane, Curtis Blow, they don't tour like that. They old heads, they old school. Do you see what I'm saying? And so I think that's the thing where we need to teach our young people. So in my class, when I'm teaching my students, I tell them, I need you guys to be a voice for what hip hop is and the culture of hip hop. And I need you to tell your peers that it's important and it should be studied and it's something worth studying, because if not, we lose that. And there's in this 50th year anniversary is definitely a year that we should be shouting that out around the rooftops and letting people know what's going on, because if we don't, it you know, it's our fault. Like when the young kids say, you know, I can't get with that old stuff and blah blah blah, that's our fault. We gotta, you know, let them know, hey, this is class. Okay, I love what you're doing. You know, don't knock what they're doing, but check this out and see where that came from. And my students love when I make connections like that. That invigorates them and makes them feel like they're connected to the pioneers.
That's what's up. That's what's up. You know, it's interesting. Speaking of being a teacher, and I don't know if we said it before we turned the mics on or not, but in terms of teaching, with Beat Junkies Academy, Rhettmatic, that's what you've been doing for a number of years, which is teaching and educating people, specifically the art of DJing, but that's all encompassed obviously in hip hop. So, for you and the Beat Junkies, have you guys talked about the 50th anniversary? Want to do something different, do something special, or just celebrating it?
Good question. I want to know that. What's up with the Junkies, man? What they doing for the 50th? I'm coming to LA. I know y'all doing something big. I'm coming.
Man, I told you I'm not a real PhD professor here, man.
I'm coming to LA to hang with Beat Junkie Sound.
So, well, okay. So, it's interesting. I mean, being an instructor and teaching and stuff, and like Rawls, he's a legitimate professor, got a PhD, and went to school and got an accredited, has a program and did a thesis and all that stuff. Whereas, it's pretty interesting because this to add on what Rawls is saying, like about it's our duty to teach everyone. It's our fault in some ways not teaching the younger generation. Also to add and to say that we didn't want to be one of those guys that were basically the old guys on the porch, like yelling at in my days,
get off my lawn,
get off my lawn. Back in I did, and that's this the irony about hip hop, right? Because it's all about it's competition, being freshest and being the dopest, but it was and a lot of braggadocious. But then as we got older, it's like sometimes, and I hate to say this, some of our OGs were they were they didn't want to share, and I get it because it's like everybody wants to be the top dog, and that's that was the competition and stuff. But then as we get older, like again, it's like you always wonder why, like the younger generation is like well, the OGs don't want to teach us and shit, we're making our own. I mean, the OGs.
I love Rhett. You gotta be
right. Oh, we editing that. Don't worry.
Okay. The OGs, the younger cats say the OGs don't want to teach us anything, so we'll do it our own. Plus, how when you were young, you want in this time, in this day and age, everything is instant gratification. So they want now, right? Whereas we're coming up, we had to go through, we had to pay our dues and stuff. But the irony of it, when our generation is saying like, what about this thing, I would always tell them, we're sounding like our parents or the generation before us, because they used to say the same thing about hip hop, that it won't, like it won't last and stuff, And the irony about this too is now, like our generation right now, we're in between. We're from the old school, but we're also kind of like also part of the new school. So we're in between. We seen the traditions, but we see the changes and stuff. And the one thing I always point out in terms, especially with DJing, because a lot of people why we started the school, because everybody was complaining about like when Serato came out and it's going to destroy this and this and this and this, right? Oh, Serato, like that's not real DJing and stuff like that. And really what got us in like using Serato, and we used to be that the hardcore traditionalists is like, oh man, if you ain't playing records and this and that, you ain't keeping it real. Jazzy Jeff personally showed us how to use Serato, and how you gonna tell that to Jazzy Jeff,
right?
How you gonna tell the like one of the guys that brought transforming out, made it popular, right? And it still can cut it up. He just said it's a tool. So when you really think about it, if you weren't that great on vinyl, what makes you think Serato is gonna make you even better? It might, sure, you might make things a little bit more easier, but at the end of the day, it's a tool, it's an access. But
right.
If this is your craft, you got to learn it. It's like if you're going to play sports or if you're going to do martial arts, you got to learn the fundamentals. Sure, there's a lot of, even music wise, it's everything saturated. Everybody wants to be rapper, wants to be, it's good and bad. Technology is great, but it's also worse depending on whose hands it's in. I mean, not to sound cliche, it's like what Peter Parker's uncle says, like with great powers comes great responsibility. It's up to you to, and we think it's like, instead of complaining, let's open up in a school. And D Styles was the one that said, like, you know, what happens to all the world champion boxers when they retire? They open up a gym. Not saying that we're retired, but it's like, it, you know, again, it's what Rawls says, like, it's our job, whether we like it or not, is to share this you know, the history, the technology, if the techniques. I don't think we're going to change anything. Our thing we say is, when we have students come to our school, it says, look, we're not going to promise you're going to have a big career. We're not going to promise. We're not going to, you know, we can't promise you that you're going to be like this, you know, some superstar, win a world champion battle and stuff like that, or whatever it is, right? But we tell them that we're going to show you a lifetime of passion. That this, if you fall in love with this, you'll keep on doing this, even if you even not have a career. And
I love it.
That's when that's when it comes down to it. I mean, of course, we teach everything we, you know, in terms of you know, history, of course, of the music, terms of DJing and stuff like that, and of course, but it's crazy, because you got a lot of, Rawls and I always talk about this and stuff. It's whether we like it or not, it's our responsibility to go and share and learn. As instructors, we're still students.
And then teaching.
And then the thing too is also, a lot of people that complain, especially from our generation, a lot of them pretty much, I hate to say this, but you know, once you get married, you have to start adulting. They kind of step away. If you're not consider, you know, if you're not consistently listening or finding stuff or learning stuff, you're gonna be stuck in that. Like, you're gonna be like Al Bundy. I did four touchdowns. I mean, it's like
in one game.
But that's like, at the end of the day, no one cares what you did back then. What are you doing now?
What are you doing right now? Yeah, exactly. Chopping up with Rawlsmatic. The new project is dropping on February the 3rd. Role reversal. J Rawls, Rhettmatic. Listen, man, I'm so psyched for the full project to drop, for people to be able to share it with my audience, and let people just enjoy what you guys have created. Like I said, you got the first visuals out for Xana. Are you planning on dropping more visuals?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I might as well tell you. So so like, we are dropping another single, another video after the album release. The second video is called Everyday
Stuff.
Featuring Illa J and Frank Nitt. Frank-A-Dank. It's actually Yancey Boys, aka Yancey Boys, and it's ironically dropping the following Friday, February 10th, which ironically is Dilla's anniversary. So it kind of worked out that way. So so that's we have a second
video popping.
That's what's up. So obviously you folk are on social media. If people want to tap in with y'all, if they want to connect, if they want to get more of the formal education and connect with you, Rawls, how should people tap in with y'all?
I'll start, man. Easiest way for me is Instagram and Twitter at JRawls82, JRAWLS 82. Rhett?
That's what's up.
Yeah, same here. Instagram and Twitter, Rhettmatic, RHETTMETIC. If you're interested in our the Beat Junkies 2 sound, which is our brick and mortar school in city of Glendale in California, beatjunkiesound.com is the website. We do have an online DJ school too, beatjunkies.tv, or anything Beat Junkies related, beatjunkies.com.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Rawlsmatic live here on X-Ray FM. Welcome to the neighborhood. Yo, let's get into this joint, The Sun. And fellas, once again, man, thank you so much for being on. Know that you have a platform right here in the Portland metro area. And Rawlsmatic will definitely be in rotation here on X-Ray and our sister station, The Numbers, in Portland, Oregon. Appreciate y'all, for real.
Go.
Yes, y'all. We're going to get into this, man. This is The Sun right here on X-Ray FM. Welcome to the neighborhood.